Hello, my name is Mason Langlois from the show Backstage, and I'm also here with...
Hi, my name is Ella Friedman, and I'm from the show Keeping Up with Ella.
Today we'll be talking about what it takes to sort of run a show here at DHS TV Media. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, so I actually started my show a little late in the year. Me and Mr. Parati were talking about like making my own show, and I was like, yeah, I'm totally interested in that. My show is basically Keeping Up with Ella. It's actually a funny story of how I got the name, but for starters, the show is basically, I wanted to put together something that will keep like teenagers and youth and young adults engaged. And I was like, where it starts from the latest hits of music, fashion trends, mental health that many teenagers are going through, especially like in school. It's very like hard because with the amount of work and just different things in our lives. So I wanted to like music, fashion, celebrities, anything that will keep our audience intrigued, especially like nowadays in the younger generation.
Nice. Yeah, my show sort of came up when I was doing, I think it was Matilda, and I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh, you know, the theater company, you know, we don't really get a lot of funding from the school, and we really thrive on ticket sales. So I was thinking we need kind of an outlet to sort of like expose more of our shows out there, and I thought, well, a lot of other theater companies in the area are in the same kind of boat. So I thought, why not do a show where we kind of take a look and interview basically a bunch of different theater companies in the area and different shows and things adjacent to theater to sort of be that advertising like station for a lot of people, and to get like a good look at what's going on behind the scenes. And so the idea kind of sprung up from there.
Oh, wow. Love how like a little thing like that makes you like the idea in your mind.
Yeah.
So where, other than kind of, it is obvious, but Backstage, what got you like the inspiration to like call it Backstage?
We went through a lot of titles. There's like a few where we just went through like on a document and sort of like just listed a bunch of them. But out of all of them, Backstage really sort of rung a chord for me because it gives you kind of like, the title sort of implies like, you're going to get a behind the scenes look behind things and be able to see, what goes on, not just on stage, but also backstage as well. So I just wanted to ask, since, obviously our show names, they mean something. Where did you find, what was the story behind yours?
It's actually a funny story, kind of. So actually Mr. Parati, when we were like listing names, he was like, what about the Ella show? I was like, the Ella show? He was like, yeah, I took up, he was joking about how he like took up all night to think of a name and like corresponding with the Ellen show and like the Ella show. But then I was like, I don't know, it's kind of a little cheesy. So I was like thinking, and something about the Kardashians, keeping up with the Kardashians, and I was like, what about keeping up with Ella, like the latest things, and like, so that's when it hit me. I was like, okay, we're doing Keeping Up with Ella then.
Nice.
And that's how it got put together.
That's a very cool story and funny.
Yeah.
So next I want to see, it takes a lot of time and effort in order to obviously produce a show at really any level ever. And I just kind of wanted to see what were the steps that it took to go from the first time you scripted it to shooting the show.
Yeah, so I think to make a show, like any show, it takes like a kind of a process. So like, of course, like comes up with the ideas, and I already had like a back view, like I said, like the latest things. And I wanted to start with something like more like impactful and meaningful. So that's where I started with like mental health. And I feel like it's really important as someone who like, I'm a very anxious person, and just knowing about the different mental health issues that there are and being aware of it is very important to me. And so we started off with like the jotting down like the ideas of how we can talk about this. That's when I was like, okay, let's bring in the social workers. And of of course, we have the four social workers, but unfortunately 2 of them could make it, but that's okay because I brought the point out that I wanted to bring out. So it started with the people and then the questions that I wanted to ask, and we kind of built it from there. And then we did a lot of like, you know, the editing that goes in with it, and a big part of it was we actually filmed my show on our new set that we made, and it was nice to have a different view of things and to like have a new scenery.
Nice.
So it was nice, but yeah, that's basically what it kind of took for my show. How about you?
So for my show, after we sort of came up with the concept and the idea, we basically started thinking, okay, what show can we, you know, feature first? And it was brought up that the middle school was doing Newsies Junior, and you know, I already know the director, Mr. Bernardo, pretty well, so I thought, you know, we can do that interview and, you know, get it. And so we reached out to him, and he thankfully came on for us. And you know, we just sort of spoke, and you know, I scripted a few questions about like different typical things that happen backstage at a show that people might know instantly. So like, you know, what does the set look like? How long did it take to build? You know, what does it take to, you know, get the rights or, you know, show a show to an audience for the first time? And it was a really great interview, and I love it to this day, and it's the first episode, so it is my favorite. But, and yeah, and so that was really it. We just sort of really try to make up some good questions and, you know, ask them.
So I know that we can kind of like, we do use the same editing software, like we use WeVideo for our shows, but what was kind of like the process that, I want to say like how long did it take you to edit, and like what was the process, like where did you start with the editing?
So I had some experience with WeVideo before, because I took a class here in my freshman year that sort of brought me through like the basics of how it works.
Yeah.
And so I had like a little bit of an idea how we're going in, but I didn't think of how much was ahead of me when I started the edit, because I was like introduced to stuff like lower thirds, which I had no idea what they were until I started doing the show. They're like the little pop-ups that you see come up, which, yeah, they have like the person's name, their title, that kind of thing. And, you know, I had like find GIFs and stuff to use to, you know, sort of sell a very professional look for the things. And also learning how to use a program to make an intro for the show was also very cool to see and just use.
I feel like there's a lot of creativity, and it actually is like really fun, honestly. Like when you see it, it looks like a lot of work, but it's not. It's after you learn it, like how to use WeVideo and just like how to edit. Like my freshman year, I was taught how to edit, and I was like, what the heck is this? Like I was like, oh no, there's no way I'm gonna get this. And then like after you do it, it comes natural to you. You're like, okay, I know how to do this. And then like adjusting the volume and cutting out some things, it's easier and it gets fun as you go. But I definitely think that it's a way to get your creative side out. And if you're someone like, I would definitely suggest to incoming freshmen who are interested in taking a class, like you don't have to be like in front of the camera. I mean, it is like suggested to try out the different things, you know, in the class, but if you're a person that likes to draw and like be creative and do the things in the background, then I think that it's also a great class to take if you're interested in those things.
Yeah.
But,
so building on top of that, you know, behind the scenes of doing these shows is very interesting. So what's sort of happens behind them?
So there's a lot of like, and obviously in a show it's not just like a one and done. There are some like, you know, takes with the camera. Sometimes the camera gives us difficulties, and Mr. Parati's like, having. He's the man though when you need help with the cameras. He's right on his feet. And with the lights too, sometimes you might have to do. It might be a little too yellow, a little too white. So we have this thing, and I think everyone who has to do their shows, they use a white piece of paper, and that's to like make sure like the color is right. It's like, and he zooms it in the paper to make sure the it's not too yellowish or anything. So there's that, and there's also like the script. Oftentimes it's really hard to like sometimes there are some of the moments where you're like blanking out, where you're just like you mess up. So there's like the times where you have to like restart and again. So it is like a big process when doing it, but it at the end of the day when it like looks good, you're like and you're happy with it. That's what like matters, I feel.
Yeah. For me, something big backstage is whenever we do like one of the live shows, there's a little applause light in the audience that I love so much because I love shiny things. But it always lights up light and everyone gets so excited to like clap for it, and it's great and I love it so much. That's probably one of my favorite things behind here.
It's so like I feel like the applause light, it's like I don't know, it gives me like one of those like a real news station, like how they would like or like one of those the talk shows. It gives me like a little bit of that reminder.
Nice. So what as of now is your fondest memory of this class and doing your show?
Ooh, too tough. It would probably have to be when actually it was on one of your shows. It was when, and I'm sure you can relate with this, but it was when I was behind the scenes of when you were doing your show and the crew, the cast and the crew from Mamma Mia, they came on your show and they were just having little silly moments and singing on set. I thought that was so funny. And then I was like, they didn't know, but like in the studio we have a microphone that when you're on set, like you can talk to the people, and they were like not sure of where the microphone was coming from. It was so funny.
Yeah, that was a good time. I think personally for me, one of my favorite moments was I was sitting in the backstage room or the crew room, and I was editing one of my shows, and I was like, just like trying to figure out where things belong, and I was like, wow, this is really cool, and I really like doing this, and it was just like a moment to myself where I was like, just found something that I really enjoyed and found my hobby, and I was like, wow, I really like editing and doing this kind of stuff. And that was probably my own favorite moment from being in this class.
There's too many sometimes to count. Like, I don't know. It's like I have to pick one. But what would I feel like when it comes to like the incoming freshmen, and there's many different electives that you can take, but I feel like TV media, I don't know, it's different. Like, what do you think you would tell the incoming or other students, like either incoming freshmen or other students who want to produce their own show? What do you think would you say?
I think what I would tell them would be just think of a really good idea first, because you can make anything a show, really, and as long as you have a really good idea and one idea that you're really passionate about, it's gonna be good, because you can tell when someone's really passionate about what they are doing a show in, because they'll be engaged with the person they're interviewing, and they'll sort of have this presence about them where they're smiling and they're happy, because you can tell that they enjoy the thing they do. And yeah, that's really what I'd like to say to those kinds of people.
Yeah. So I know that there was a banquet recently, for the end of the year banquet. Do you what was your favorite part, and what was going on at the banquet? That's what I want to know.
So my favorite part of the banquet was being able to go up and announce all the senior awards and be able to recognize all the people that really helped us out this year and all the people graduating, which was awesome because they worked so hard for all their 4 years of being here, or maybe they're short time with us or they're a long time with us. It depends, on the person. And, it's nice to be able to recognize them for all the hard work that they do, especially at the end of, a big moment in their lives. And obviously the food was really good. We had it at Cask and Fig. It was really good. And that was really a really good part. But we do actually have a highlight reel for this year's Senior Awards slash
wow.
Media Banquet. So I think we should show it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's roll the clip. Nicholas Mastrangelo, the World Blue Beer.
First Adam Souza.
This award to Quincy Anton. Stood up for Elijah Olivaria.
Carlson Park. To Michael Foley.
Ryan Aruda. Holly Raposa.
So it sounds like you guys had a blast at the banquet. So the last thing I kind of want to catch up on is I want to tell everyone that even though I started a little late in the year with Keeping Up with Ella, I wanted to say that there's more that I want to bring to the table and there's more things that I want to talk about, and I'm hoping to get a lot out when we come back in the fall. And yeah, those are one of my hopes for this fall. How about your show? What are you looking for?
I have a very exciting announcement. So as some people may know, some people may not, we have one really big main student hosted talk show that we do every year, and the current one as of right now is Ryanology with Ryan Aruda. And since he's a graduating senior this year, I'd like to announce that I will be the one taking over the main student talk show.
Oh my gosh. Wow, I was not informed about that actually.
Yeah, so I'll be taking over that one, so you can see me there. We haven't come up with a name yet, but we're working hard to try and figure out what it's going to be called. But it's going to be really exciting, and I'm really excited to.
I'm excited for you, Mason. That's a big deal. I know Ryan Aruda was a great talk show host, and I'm sure that you will meet up to his expectations or even more, because I know how great of speaker you are, and you're great overall. All right, I think that's all. I'm hoping everyone has a great summer, and you're not done with us yet. Me and Mason, we're still here. We're gonna produce more shows, and we have a lot of great content on the way. And yeah, I think that's it, right?
Yep.
All right. Thank you,